Pokemon FireRed and LeafGreen are dropping on the Nintendo Switch for 20 bucks each on Pokemon Day. And one of the biggest questions I've been getting from the aDrive army is, which one should I buy? Are they the same game? Does it even matter? And honestly, it matters much more than you think. These games are not just a palette swap. There are exclusive Pokemon, different game corner prizes, different in-game trades, and even a different form of a legendary mythical Pokemon, depending on which version you pick. So today, I'm breaking down every single difference between FireRed and LeafGreen so you can make the right call for your playthrough. Let's get into it. What's going on, guys? It's Dan or aDrive here. If you guys like Pokemon videos, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. I'll be covering Pokemon Presents here on Pokemon Day with the Gen 10 starter reveals, and you do not want to miss my epic live stream. So tune in 8 a.m. Eastern time on February 27th for the big reveal, and make sure you guys subscribe. Now, let's settle the debate between FireRed and LeafGreen. The biggest factor when choosing a version is always the exclusive Pokemon. Let's go through these carefully because these aren't just random picks. They actually affect what kind of team you can build. First up, FireRed gives you the Ekans line, Ekans and Arbok, poison-type snake boys that are a classic Team Rocket aesthetic. You also get the Oddish line, which features Oddish, Gloom, and Vileplume, and that's a good, solid grass poison option if you don't pick Bulbasaur. There's also Psyduck and Golduck, good water-type options with Psychic secondary coverage. You get Growlithe and Arcanine, and for a lot of people, this alone settles the debate. Arcanine is one of the most beloved Pokemon in the franchise. Excellent stats, great move pool, and that majestic design. Shelter and Cloyster round out your water and ice options, and then there's a big one for bug fans like myself. Scyther is exclusive to FireRed, along with its evolution Scizor in the post-game. And for electric type lovers, Electabuzz and its baby form Elekid are FireRed only. On the LeafGreen side, you've got some heavy hitters too. Sandshrew and Sandslash, which are solid ground types with decent physical attack. You'll also get Vulpix and Ninetales as your counterpart to Arcanine, which is pretty cool. Bellsprout, Weeping Bell, and Victory Bell replace Oddish as your grass poison option. You'll get Slowpoke, Slowbro, and later Slowking, and this is a huge deal. The Slowpoke family is exclusive to LeafGreen and is the only Gen 3 game where you can actually catch them. Staryu and Starmie are also LeafGreen exclusive, and Starmie is one of the best Pokemon in the entire game. It's really fast, it hits hard, and it has incredible type coverage. Magmar and Magby give you a fire type alternative, and Pinsir is your big bug type instead of Scyther. So who wins this round? It genuinely depends on what you value. FireRed has the most fan favorites. Arcanine, Scizor, and Electabuzz are pretty iconic, but LeafGreen has some of the competitive edge. Starmie is arguably the best non-legendary in the game, and Slowbro is pretty good, right? And you can't get it any other way else. If you want cool factor, FireRed probably gives you an edge, but if you want competitive advantage, I think LeafGreen might just sneak ahead here. For me, as much as I love Scyther and Scizor, I think LeafGreen is edging out just ahead. I really like the box design too. After you beat the Elite Four and unlock the National Dex, each version gets a second wave of exclusives found in the Sevi Islands, and these are Gen 2 Pokemon that were otherwise cut off from the Gen 3 ecosystem. In FireRed, you're going to get Wooper and Quagsire, which is a water and ground type that's really strong, Murkrow, which is the only dark and flying in the game, Quillfish, obviously Scizor as we mentioned, Delibird, we can move on there, sorry Shady, and Skarmory, which is one of the best Pokemon in the game, right? Steel flying, super big wall, very defensive. In LeafGreen, you'll get Marill, Azumarill, and Azurill, so these are pretty strong. Slowking, of course, Mischievous, which I really like, Sneasel, Remoraid, Octillery, and Mantine as your Skarmory counterpart. I think Skarmory carries here and gives FireRed the advantage, and honestly, Scizor, Quillfish, these are all really epic. Okay, so this one is a deep cut that most people don't know, but both versions technically have a Deoxys form, but it takes on a different form depending on which game you're playing. In FireRed, Deoxys appears in its attack form. This version has a monstrous offensive stats, one of the highest attack and special attack stats in the game, but it's a glass cannon. It hits like a truck, but it goes down just as fast. In LeafGreen, Deoxys appears in its defense form. This version flips the script. Incredible defense and special defense, but far less offensive power. It's a total wall. Now, we're hoping Deoxys actually does show up here as a mystery gift, and we're speculating that you might be able to shiny hunt it. This is going to be really cool, and I'm super excited about it as Deoxys music was found in the game. This is worth knowing. If you want the offensive Deoxys, FireRed. If you want the defensive one, LeafGreen. I like to play more defensively, so I'm leaning defense form. Now, this is actually a big deal because when you're planning your playthrough out, the Celadon City Game Corner could be huge for some of the key Pokemon you might want. The available Pokemon are mostly the same across both versions, Abra, Clefairy, Dratini, and Porygon, but there's two key differences that actually matter. First, the Bug-type prize. In FireRed, you can buy Scyther for 5,500 coins. In LeafGreen, it's Pinsir, but for only 2,500 coins. So LeafGreen players actually get the cheaper deal, even if most people would argue Scyther is the better Pokemon. Pinsir's no slouch, that's got a massive attack stat. Second, the prices for the shared Pokemon are different between versions. In FireRed, Abra costs 180 coins, in LeafGreen it's only 120. Clefairy is 500 coins in FireRed, but 750 in LeafGreen. Dratini is 2,800 in FireRed, but 4,600 in LeafGreen. And Porygon, the most expensive prize, costs 9,999 coins in FireRed, but only 6,500 in LeafGreen. So if you want Porygon without spending a fortune, LeafGreen literally saves you 3,500 coins. That's pretty significant, but if you want Abra and Clefairy on the cheap, FireRed is slightly better there. Overall, LeafGreen's Game Corner is a little bit cheaper on some of the big ticket items, so I give it the advantage here, and getting Pinsir at 2,500 is a pretty good deal. There are a handful of in-game trades with NPCs scattered across Kanto, and a few of them change depending on your version. The big one is on Route 18. In FireRed, an NPC wants your Gold Duck in exchange for a Lickitung, but in LeafGreen, that same NPC wants a Slowbro for the same Lickitung. This matters because Gold Duck is a FireRed exclusive and Slowbro is a LeafGreen exclusive, so the trade is always asking for a Pokemon you can actually catch in your version. There are also Nidoran trades that swap between versions. In FireRed, an NPC on Route 11 trades a female Nidoran for a male one. In LeafGreen, it's reversed, male for female. The Nidoran with the lower encounter rate in your version is always the one being offered, which is a clever way to help you fill out the decks. These aren't game-breaking differences, but they're nice quality of life things that the dev thought out to make each version feel self-contained. Now this one's not going to apply to the Switch version as much, but it's worth mentioning for history's sake. On the original GBA, FireRed came with a distinctive red cartridge and LeafGreen in a green cartridge. They looked gorgeous and they were immediately recognizable. These were some of the most beautiful GBA carts ever made. The title screen features Charizard for FireRed and Venusaur for LeafGreen, obviously. And here's a fun one most Western fans don't know. In the Japanese versions, NPCs actually have different fonts depending on their gender. Male NPCs speak in a computer-style font, while female NPCs use a handwritten style font. The visual difference was removed in the English localization. We talked a lot about what's different, but let's talk about what's the same for a second. This is what does not change between versions. The story is identical, the same plot, the same gyms, same Team Rocket events, same Sevi Islands post-game quests. There are no version exclusive story beats or characters. The 3 starters, Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle, are available in both, and your starter choice does not depend on your version. The legendary birds, Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres, are in both games, in the same location. Mewtwo is in both. The roaming legendary beast you get depends on your starter, not your version. And all gym leaders, Elite Four members, and your rival have the same teams in both versions. The Elite Four rematch upgrade is identical too. The Sevi Islands content, the trainer tower, the breeding mechanics, the wireless features, all the same. You're really choosing which game you want based on which Pokemon you want access to. All right, it's decision time. Let me give you my honest breakdown on which version fits you best. Buy FireRed if you want the fan favorite Pokemon. Arcanine, Scyther, Scizor, Electabuzz, Skarmory. These are some of the most beloved and iconic Pokemon in the franchise. FireRed's exclusive lineup reads like a greatest hits album. If you're a nostalgia player who originally played Red or Blue, FireRed mirrors the original Red version's exclusive. If you had Growlithe and Scyther as a kid, this is your game. If you value offensive powerhouses, Arcanine is a wrecking ball, Scizor is a competitive monster, Electabuzz hits hard, and Deoxys' attack form is one of the most dangerous Pokemon in existence. But not all hope is lost for LeafGreen. If you want the strategically smarter exclusive lineup, Starmie is arguably the best non-legendary in the game. Fast, powerful, versatile move pool. Slowbro is a defensive anchor that can literally not be obtained in any other Gen 3 game. That's pretty sweet. If you want better game corner value, Porygon is 3,500 coins cheaper. Pinsir is 3,000 coins cheaper than Scyther. Your coins are going to stretch further in LeafGreen, and in this economy, that's a big deal. If you like the underdogs and unique picks, Mischievous gives you a pure ghost in a game where ghost options are very limited. Sneasel is a stylish dark and ice pick, and Ninetales is a pretty elegant design. I also think Defense Deoxys is pretty sweet, and its ability to recover its health is nuts. The secret third option is if you could afford it, you could buy both, but don't actually do that. That would be insane. Don't do that. Don't do that. I'm only getting one. If I had to choose, I'm picking LeafGreen. And I think it's the spicier take because I think most people are going to pick FireRed. But honestly, man, I'm excited about Pinsir. I want my cheap game corner. I'm a Bulbasaur guy, although I do love Charmander too. But I'm picking Bulbasaur. My boy Asparagus will be going with me on this journey. Here's the deal though, you can't go wrong. It really depends on your preferences and the team that you want to build out. And there you have it. That's every difference you need to know about Pokemon FireRed and LeafGreen. If you want to learn about all the secrets of FireRed and LeafGreen, you should check out the other video that I just made breaking it all down because there's a lot of stuff you probably don't know. And stay tuned for our Pokemon Day coverage right here on the channel. Our live stream starts at 8 a.m. Eastern on the 27th. Make sure you guys subscribe and like the video.